Well, hi Year 4, Mrs. Harmer here again with another instalment of Spanish for you. Okay, let me share the screen so you can see what we're up to today. Here we go. Kapow. Oh, and let me make it as big as possible. Here we go. Right, so today we're going to learn how to name parts of the face in Spanish. I'm very excited. Okay, but first, primero, we're going to remind ourselves of what we did last time. Here we go. I've got some instructions for you to give people direction, and I'm wondering if you can remember which one is which. Okay, if I said gira a la izquierda, would you be sending people that way, or straight on? If I said gira a la derecha, would that be telling people to turn this way, that way, or straight on? If I said todo recto, is that this way, that way, or straight on? Okay, I'll give you a couple of minutes. Oh, no, I don't even mean that long. A couple of moments even to decide which one is which. Okay. Right. If you were telling someone gira a la izquierda, you would actually be telling them to turn left. Good. I hope you all said that. Because then, if you told someone gira a la derecha, you'd be telling them to turn right. Okay. And so that means if you were saying todo recto, you're telling them to go straight ahead. Okay. Let's move on to para here. What am I saying with para? Am I saying, if I said para, am I saying go or stop? Again, really quick time for you to work this one out. Yes, I hope you're all saying, Mrs. Harmer, you would be saying stop if you said para. Okay, let's come down to the shop names here. We have pasteleria, supermercado, farmacia. Which one goes with which shop? Again, a couple of moments, see if you can work this one out. Okay, right, so let's go for pasteleria. That is not the supermarket. That is indeed the cake shop. Pastel being the name for cake, okay? Supermercado. Where could that go? That is not the pharmacy. It's obviously not the cake shop. It's actually the supermarket. Oh, what a happy supermarket that looks like. So, as you might have guessed, pharmacia goes with the chemist, the pharmacy. Okay, let's move on to what we're going to do today. So here we go. I have an exciting opportunity for you. Always exciting with Mrs. Harmer. It's time for us to learn parts of the face so then we can play a game. Oh my goodness, the excitement. Okay, so here it is in English. Very, very easy. Obviously, you know all of that stuff. But here it is in Spanish. So in English, it says my face, but actually in Spanish, when you're talking about parts of your body or your face or anything like that, you actually just say the. face rather than my or your or his or anyone else's. Okay, that's just the way it is. So I have two here that we're not going to use in the game, but I thought I'd tell you how they went and we can learn how to say them as well anyway. So here we go. Eyebrow, these parts here, is actually ceja. Give that a go. Ceja. Lovely. And eyelashes, there we go, little eyelashes, they're actually called pestañas. Oh, good. You did have a go at that. Okay, let's get to the bits that we're actually going to use for this game that we're going to play. You need to know these. So hair is pelo. Good. Eyes, ojos. Good. Ears, orejas. Lovely. Nose, nariz. Mouth, boca. Last one then, chin is barbilla. Right, let's whiz through those completely, okay? Pelo, ojos, orejas, nariz, boca, barbilla. Fabulous. Okay, now then, let me explain the game. You might have heard of a game called Beetle Drive. And basically, in this game, you throw a dice and that decides what part of the beetle's body that you draw. So in this version of the game, if you threw a 2, you'd be drawing an antennae. If you threw a 4, you'd be drawing a wing. But basically, the game is played like that. You throw the dice and whoever gets the right bits wins. In my version of the game, we're going to, with a dice, decide how many of a facial feature you will be drawing. Okay, so here's your blank face. I've done a sheet for you with a blank face like this. And you throw the dice, and then if you threw a certain number, and I'll show you those in a minute, you would draw that facial feature. In my game, there is no limit to how many of that facial feature you might end up with. Okay, so could end up with quite a funny looking face. Let's label where the facial features go first. Obviously in Spanish. We're not doing this in English, guys. Okay, so here we go. Here's my blank face, and I better finish off labeling where all the different bits go. So let's do, I think we do that sort of writing there. Okay, so right here is where the hair is going to go. Pelo. Okay, you've labelled that there. Oh, and I've got the ears labelled here, orejas. And I've got where the eyes would go, only I've just got the label for them, ojos. Okay, they come in pairs, so that's why I've got 2 of each label. I'm now just going to add the last little bit here. There we go, because we wouldn't want to miss a nose label, would we? Nariz. Brilliant. Okay, and down here, barbilla for the chin. Okay, next thing. I'm going to give you a moment because I'm hoping that you'll remember this from our stationery lesson, our bit where we filled the rucksack with various items like pencils and pens and scissors and rulers and stuff like that. If you remember, I'll say this again, Spanish is divided into the 2, masculine and feminine. which means you actually have 4 words for saying the. These ones here are if they're more than one thing. So that's why I've got los ojos. Ojos is a masculine noun, and there's more than one, there's 2. So it has to be los. So you've got that. Then you've got this one for when there's more than 2 of something that is a feminine noun. Okay, and I'm hoping you remember how to spot these. And then this one is when it's a masculine noun, but there's just one of it, or a feminine noun, and there's just one of that. So if you think right back just now, I said la cara because cara is a feminine noun. So have a look at these. In a minute, we're going to sort these out together. So I'm hoping you have this sheet in front of you. You're busy labelling even as we speak, or maybe you'd like to pause and do that. And then we're going to make sure that we know which ones have los, las, el, or la to say the. Okay, so I'll give you a moment or two to have a think about that. Okay, hope you're ready for this. Pencil or pen at the ready to sort out your one as well. So, as I say, we've got los ojos here because this is a masculine noun and it's plural. Now we've got a feminine noun. Look, it's got an A on the end. Hope you remember that clue. So this one is going to be la barbilla. Oh, look, here's another one with an A here. So that's a feminine noun, but it's got an S, so it's plural. It's 2 ears, okay? Eyes, ears. So this one is going to be las orejas. Okay. I'm hoping with this one you said la. Write it in now. Okay. This next one, bit different. It's got an O on the end, which sort of gives you the clue, although not always, but in this case it does. It gives you the clue this is a masculine noun. It's singular, and so it's going to be el. And I have to give you a word of warning with this one as well. If you're talking about hair on your head, obviously you can't make that a plural because you can talk about single hairs, but if you're talking about a head of hair, that is always singular. Okay, so it's going to stay, however many times you draw it, it's always going to stay as one thing, el pelo. Okay, it won't change. Now, this last one, there's no clear clue whether it's going to be el or la. It's singular, but I happen to know it's la. So let's get this in now. It's la nariz. Okay, so we've got los ojos, la barbilla, las orejas, la boca, el pelo, and la nariz. Okay, this is where it gets even more fun. I know, it's too much, right? Okay, so once you've labelled the face, and if you haven't done it by now, pause the video so you can, you need to use a real or a virtual dice to throw to decide what you're going to draw first on your face, okay? So I found one, this is quite a reasonable dice roller if you have to go virtual. Real dice is great. If you're at home, search out those dice, rummage through that game. I'm sure you can find some somewhere, but if you can't, here's one that you could use. Okay, so if you throw a 1, and this is on the sheet, so don't worry, this is not a sort of memory test. Can you remember this? If you throw a 1, you draw a pair of eyes. Eyes and ears always come in pairs. If you throw a 2, you draw a chin. Now, I know that this has already got a chin on it, but you can draw an extra chin. Ends up looking quite amusing. If you throw a 3, you draw a set of ears. Now, I can see already that there is a pair of ears on here, so this is going to be an extra pair of ears. Your face could end up looking quite peculiar. Okay, if you throw a 4, you draw a mouth. If you throw a 5, you draw some hair. And who knows how many 5s you're going to throw? You're going to end up with several sets of hair. It's going to be a very hairy person, possibly. And if you throw a 6, you draw a nose. Okay, now I did try this game earlier, and this is what mine ended up looking like. Okay, so he's got all his labels on, so I knew where I was going to draw everything. Like I say, eyes and ears always come in pairs. So you throw a 1 or a 3, you know you're going to draw a pair of something. Okay. And, oh my goodness, yes, ends up with quite a lot of mouths. So when you finished the game, and I don't know how long you're going to have doing this, you can play it on your own, or you can play it in pairs, particularly if you've got a dice each. You can take it in turns to throw your dice. Okay, and so what I want you to do when you finish the game is there is space at the bottom of the sheet for a couple of sentences. And the first one, I've given you tengo, which means I have. And so I've chosen to talk about eyes, ojos, and mouths. Okay, but you can pick anything except probably the hair, because you can't pluralize that really. You can't say I've got one hair. No. Okay, so I've given you the plurals here: bocas, mouths; barbillas, chins; and narices, which is the plural for noses. Okay, so how would I fill this in? So you can either, with your sentences, I don't mind if you just write the number. So you could, in this case, tengo ojos. You could either write that you had a number 4, or you might want to go fancy like me, and I'm actually going to type the number name. Okay, so cuatro. Okay, because I've got uno, dos, tres, cuatro ojos. And I've also mentioned mouths. So again, I'm going to type the name, or if you want to, as I say, it's not a problem. You can just write the number. I'm going to write uno, dos, tres. Okay. Okay. Super, super. So that's what I want you to do. Second sentence, you're going to have to write tengo for yourself. Okay. Tengo, I have. Tres, 3. Bocas, mouths. I have 3 mouths. Well, I don't really have 3 mouths, but you know, yeah. Okay. I'm talking about that face, not this face. Okay. So I have one last question before I release you into playing this game. Okay. So this face has something that I haven't drawn on it yet. I've got the label, but I have not got it. That's right. The face, it has missing. It has no nose. And that could happen to you. It's a fun game. Keep playing it till you can't play it anymore, either because you run out of time or you've driven everybody crazy. Yeah, so have fun doing that. I do want you to spend most of the time doing this game, but as you draw each different item, okay, say its name. So if I was drawing extra ears, I would be saying orejas. If I was drawing another mouth, I would be saying boca. You can say pelo. I say, remember, don't have it in the sentences underneath. It won't really work very well. Okay, have fun doing that. I'm going to stop sharing now and say goodbye for the moment. I'm going to say see you later, actually. Hasta luego.